Well, there were two IRS tax collectors who died and arrived at the pearly gates. And just ahead of them were two clergy. But St. Peter motioned the clergy aside and took the tax collectors into heaven at once. Why them ahead of us? The surprised religious leaders asked. Haven't we done everything possible to spread the good word? Yes, said St. Peter, but those two IRS agents scared hell out of more people than you ever did. Do you have your taxes in? That's really good. Or some of us that filed for an extension. Okay, that's great. So taxes and Earth Day, everything kind of happens at once. But I just really wanted to spend a Sunday just reflecting on our precious planet. Since Earth Day was yesterday, and I don't know about you, I needed to kind of refresh my memory about Earth Day and how it all started. So let's refresh. So apparently it began in 1970 to raise awareness about the environment and to alert the political establishment at the time that things needed to change. Sound familiar? And that it was time for environmental issues to be brought to the national agenda. So it's recorded that approximately 20 million demonstrators and thousands of schools and communities participated that year. Earth Day went global in 1990 and has mobilized over 200 million people in 141 countries across the globe. So, there's just something about focusing on our planet that, I don't know, it stirs me emotionally. I don't know if you felt that during the meditation, but there's just something, it's like it catches in my throat and my heart right now. I could probably sit over there and just go, just because it's just, there's something so precious about our planet. And so it feels appropriate right now for us to just take a Sunday again and just reflect about our planet and what is ours to do. And when I do talks about this, I go back to Genesis and I read the scripture that says, "Let us make humankind in our image, according to our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea and over the birds of the air, and over the cattle and over all the wild animals of the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps upon the earth." So this is a scripture that I've heard, from my Southern Baptist days. And honestly, I think the tricky part of this is the word dominion. Because I think how it's been interpreted in the past, that if we have dominion over something, it means we can do whatever we want to with it. And so I just want to briefly, metaphysically go a little bit deeper into the word dominion. Dominion means power. And metaphysically, what power means is that we have choice to change our minds about things. That's what dominion is. We teach in Unity that we have dominion over our thoughts and feelings because we can make a conscious choice about those thoughts and feelings. And I was just so moved by the scripture from the Daily Word today about, ask the animals, this is from Job, and they will teach you, or birds of the air, and they will tell you, and speak to the earth, and it will teach you, or let the fish of the sea inform you. There is a robin sitting on a nest outside of my office window, and Edie and I watch it every day and marvel at the beauty and the flow of life that informs that. It's beautiful, and we can learn from it if we allow ourselves to connect with the planet. So let's connect today, because I don't know about you, but when I've been touched, by just looking at the beautiful colors in a glorious sunset. or seeing that robin, or seeing a whale breach, or how many of you have been to the Grand Canyon and just looked in the vastness of this canyon and it just kind of blows your mind at life's beauty. And of course, as we focus on the earth, this quote by Chief Seattle just feels so important to bring back to our awareness. I'm sure most of us have heard it, but I'd like to re-presence it today. Chief Seattle was a Duwamish chief in the latter part of the 19th century who was a prominent figure among his people, and he pursued a path to work with white settlers. And the city of Seattle in the U.S. Was named after him. But there was a widely publicized speech where he took a stand in favor of ecological responsibility and respect of Native Americans' land rights. And this is what he said. Teach your children what we have taught our children, that the earth is our mother. Whatever befalls the earth befalls the sons and daughters of the earth. This we know. The earth does not belong to us. We belong to the earth. This we know. All things are connected like the blood that unites our family. All things are connected. Whatever befalls the earth befalls the sons and daughters of the earth. We did not weave the web of life. We are merely a strand in it. Whatever we do to the web, we do to ourselves. Yeah. So, I want my goddaughter, who's 2 years old, to know what it's like to sit by the ocean and have it be clean. I want my goddaughter to breathe clean air. I want my goddaughter to be able to experience what I did in play as a child out in the woods. Yeah. So, I'm just going to share a few facts with you about where we are right now. Because I think it's important for us to hear where we are right now so we can move into something new. So Americans account for 4.4% of the world's population, but consume up to 30% of our world's resources. Americans used about 50 billion plastic bottles last year, and since the U.S.'s recycling rate for plastic is only 23%, that means 38 billion water bottles are wasted each year. It's kind of hard to wrap your head around that, isn't it? Plastic bags and other plastic garbage thrown into the ocean kill as many as 1 million sea creatures every year. Recycling plastic saves twice as much energy as burning it in an incinerator. Americans throw away, this blew my mind, 25 billion styrofoam coffee cups every year. Dr. Seuss from the Lorax says, unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. So profound. So, let's really look at what is ours to do. And then this is the thing, folks. I look at you, and I know you're great people and you're already doing a lot. So let's acknowledge what we're doing and use this just as a wake-up call to think, oh, maybe I can do this. Or maybe I can heighten my ability to do this. The 4 R's. The 4 R's. Reuse it, refuse it, remove it, and recycle it. Okay? So really briefly, reuse it. Take along your reusable coffee cup, your shopping bag, which when I moved to Montgomery County, and I would forget a bag, and I have a 5-cent charge on my receipt. I'm like, what is that? And then I was told that's because you're charged for a 5-cent plastic bag, and it goes to the Montgomery County Water Quality Protection Fund. That is so awesome. So sometimes, I'm pretty good about a reusable bag, but sometimes if I go into Subway and I need to pick up orders for 2 or 3 people, I forget that, I can't carry that all, and I'll get a bag and they'll charge me 5 cents. I love that. I just think that's great. So, I don't mind paying that. So let's reuse. Just a little story. During the annual Ocean Conservancy's International Coastal Cleanup, volunteers picked up enough food packaging for one person to get takeout for breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day for the next 858 years. I know. 9,184,428 tons of trash was picked up oceanside by over 10 participating countries. Let's reuse it. Okay, refuse it. Just say no. Say no to keep an eye out for products wrapped in less packaging, and don't take a bag if you don't need it. When eating out, decline to take a styrofoam or plastic to-go box. No styrofoam, ever. The chemicals that make styrofoam are harmful for our environment, and they also leach into the food. And if you ever heat anything with styrofoam in the microwave, you're getting those chemicals as well. So in a restaurant, bring a take-home container. I have this really nifty, it's BPA-free. It's this nifty little clamshell thing that I found at Unity Village. Unity Village started this thing where employees could come in and take their lunch to their desk in these nifty little reusable clamshells. They weren't styrofoam. They're this big hardy plastic that lasts, forever. And then they could bring back that clamshell, and the Unity Inn would wash it for them, and they'd just take another one back to their desk. And so I just thought that was the coolest thing, and so I bought one. And if you're a friend of mine, you've gotten one as a gift. It's like, oh, thank you, Sheryl. This is really great. But when I tell you, when you bring it into a restaurant, people are like, that is so cool. Because people still use styrofoam, for our takeout. And if you have a couple pieces of pizza you just want to take home, try asking them for a piece of tinfoil instead of a box, because tinfoil can be washed. Tinfoil, Montgomery County is so awesome. Montgomery County accepts tinfoil if you don't have food residue on it, as well as pie plates and other really aluminum things. All right, so 3, remove it. Whenever you see trash, it's, I go to the beach, it's my happy place, but I can't walk down the beach anymore without a bag, just to pick up things along the way. Or when you're, just walking down the street, for a walk in your neighborhood and you see a plastic bag, just, you can pick it up and just put it in your recycle. And recycle. Recycling is really earth-friendly, as we know, but I just want to give you a little bit of fact. For every ton of paper that's recycled, the following is saved: 17 trees, 7,000 gallons of water, 380 gallons of oil, because it takes petroleum to make plastic, and enough electricity to power an average house for 6 months. You can run a TV for 6 hours on the amount of electricity that is saved by recycling one aluminum can. By recycling just one glass bottle, you save enough electricity to power a 100-watt bulb for 4 hours. Yeah. And Montgomery County, again, is amazing. They take hardcover books, paperback, softcover books, telephone books. They take shredded paper. I didn't know shredded paper was recyclable, but it is through Montgomery County. Yes?
You can now donate your clothing for recycling. They're making it into they're making it into clothing, other kinds of clothing. They're making it into insulation for your attic. It's out of denim. So if your stuff is too ratty to give away,
To Goodwill. Yeah.
Take it to the recycling center in Shady Brook.
Montgomery County rocks. I've never seen a recycling that is so comprehensive. It's great. All right. So if you want more information, go to the Department of Environmental Protection for Montgomery County, Maryland for more information. But, okay, so those are the 4 R's, but let's just look at it now. So I think, what would be possible for us if we could get away from our handheld devices and spend a little bit more time in nature? Just to breathe and I got to tell you, our children, I see children, they're like this all the time. They walk around like this, because they're so engaged in those imaginary worlds that are very compelling. And so they miss the natural world. That's why it's so important for our children to have experiences in the woods. Take them in the woods. Take them by the lake at Seneca Park. Take them to the beach. Show them the beauty and the magnificence as we as adults continue to stay in a place of awe and wonder about our world. They'll catch that. And let's just hold our earth in healing prayers, folks. Let's hold our planet, because the power of our imagination is powerful. And so I just want to invite us into our daily prayer time and meditation time to just take a few moments to bring into your mind's eye the planet and just see it completely filled and surrounded with healing light and love. It makes a difference. It makes a difference. And consider getting involved. A few months ago, Kevin Flatt, who was very passionate, Edie Crane's husband, talked about the climate mobilization. And it's an organization that's calling for a very radical World War II style of mobilization to restore a safe climate. And they are inviting all of us to take a pledge that involves a consciousness shift as well as taking action. So that's just something to file away. And consider joining the People's Climate Movement, who's sponsoring a march this coming Saturday, and we'd love to come. I will be there at the Starbucks with my latte and my reusable cup, waiting for you to join me. Let's go. Let's just go raise our voices. And remember the Sierra Club, founded by naturalist John Muir in 1892. It's now the largest and most influential grassroots environmental organization with more than 2 million supporters. And they have been responsible for helping to pass the Clean Air Act, the Clean Water Act, and the Endangered Species Act. So right now they're working on eliminating fossil fuels that cause climate disruption. So, and once I moved back to the East Coast, it was a privilege for me to now join the Chesapeake Bay Foundation. There's something so precious about living near the Chesapeake Bay. It's our treasure. And I feel like it's something that I really want to support because, again, the beach is my happy place. And it's something that feeds, literally, our spirits and our souls and our bodies. So, our earth is sacred, our earth is beautiful. And I think the more that we can connect with it, then I think that we can feel more inspired to take action and to give where we're called to give. So I just want to end my message today with a video that I just invite you to open your heart to. So let's affirm together our affirmation. To what? Let's just repeat after me. I do my part, to be a loving, responsible steward, of our beautiful world. And so it is.